On this edition of Total OS, today I wanted to talk about my favorite top 10 applications, pieces of software to be used in Linux or in Ubuntu. So let's get started. My number one absolute favorite application for Linux would be Ubuntu Tweak. This is really, as a longtime Windows user, this is really a fantastic piece of tune-up tweaking software for your Linux operating system. If you've just downloaded, Ubuntu or Linux Mint and not sure where to get started, downloading this piece of software, very easy to use, how to tweak or customize or tune up your operating system. So I highly recommend Ubuntu Tweak. And by the way, these are all free pieces of software. Tweak is exclusive to Linux and not available for Windows. Okay, my favorite, number two, my favorite music player would be Quad Labé. Rhythmbox is good. It's installed by default in Ubuntu, but there's something about Quad Labé, the way it looks. It just seems like it's a little bit easier, intuitive, meaning if you are a Windows user, you would know exactly how to use this to play your music and to add files, music files, to the Quad Labé music player. Okay, number three on my list for photography would be Picasa, Google Picasa for Linux. I use this for Windows. It's also available for both Windows and Linux. Very easy. Uh, Windows, I've seen absolutely zero bugs. This is the beta for Linux, Picasa 3.0 for Linux, the beta, and I really haven't noticed any bugs whatsoever. So for photography, for photo editing, printing, stuff like that, I would definitely take a look at Google Picasa. For web browsing, I would definitely take a look at Firefox, number four on my list. This is really top-notch browser, although I do like Opera also, but I've been using Firefox a long time for both Linux and Windows, and for the most part, it works pretty good. Number five on my list would be the Ubuntu Software Center. This comes pre-installed with Ubuntu, so if you download Ubuntu as your operating system, it is available. You don't have to obviously download it again unless you have an issue with the downloaded operating system. So the Ubuntu Software Center would be next on my list, number five on the top 10 applications for Linux. Now, by the way, I know I'm zipping through these rather quickly. Maybe in a future screencast, I'll go through these one by one and maybe explain a little about it more. But I'm trying to keep this under the 10 or 15 minutes time that is allowed to me by YouTube. So if I seem that I'm going to these rather through these rather quickly, I apologize. Okay, where was I? Number six. Is this number six? Yeah, number six on my list would be MP3 Gain. I use this also for Windows. There's nothing worse than ripping your favorite CDs onto your computer and then onto your MP3 player, and say you're playing the music in the car, or if you're going jogging and the volume, you keep having to adjust the volume. I generally set the MP3 gain volume normalization at about 92 for the entire album CD, and it seems to work pretty good for me, and for this I've noticed no bugs whatsoever in either Linux or Windows. Number 7 on my list for media player would be VLC. This also works great in Windows. I've been using this for years in Windows and currently use this in Ubuntu and Linux Mint and in Zorin OS 3. Pretty easy to use. This is a really fantastic, fully loaded, full-featured piece of free software. Number 8 on my list for all you writers out there, I like AbiWord. It says here AbiWord is a free word processing program similar to Microsoft Word. This isn't as full-featured as, say, Open Office or Microsoft Works, but really just for taking notes or writing letters, it really doesn't have to be. It's a more streamlined, more streamlined approach to the productivity suite, although I guess you really could not call this a suite. But again, if you just want to write letters or take notes, save them into various formats such as RTF, HTML, AbiWord is the way to go versus, say, Open Office. Okay, number 9 on my list, excuse me, that was the Ubuntu Software Center. Screenlets would be number 9 on my list. This is similar to, I guess it would be similar to the Yahoo widgets in Windows. Again, you can download this for free and add and delete, customize and move these screenlets or widgets as you please. This is exclusive to Linux, but again, Yahoo widgets would be similar to this for Windows. I use number 10 lastly on my list would be Record My Desktop. This is what I use to record screencasts in Linux. This tends to be somewhat buggy. The audio, sometimes you need to fine tune it. This is exclusive to Linux. I'll be honest, I prefer doing screencasts in Windows. There's a really solid piece of software that I use in Windows for screencasting. I believe it's called Blueberry Recorder. I hope I'm saying it right, but that's for Windows. I've been asked sometimes, why do I do Linux programs while screencasting in Windows? Well, now you know why sometimes I do that, although lately I haven't had any issues with Record My Desktop. Just as a note, this only exports to the OGV format. I use a program called Transmageddon to transcode the format from OGV, say, to Flash or MP4. Okay, well, there you have it, my top 10 list, top application software for Linux. Take a look at them. They all work pretty good for me. That's it. This is today's screencast for Total OS Today. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.